How does Game of Thrones end in the books? Screen Rant. Warning: spoilers ahead for Game of Thrones Season 8 is ending, and when it does, so will all speculation about how HBO's epic fantasy series finally wraps up. But how will the story? Game of Thrones Season 8 is not only the last season of the HBO series, but perhaps it is the end of the HBO series and there will be no new episodes. However, when HBO first ordered a series based on Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire, the plan was for all 7 books to be finished well before the television series ever reached the story material from those as of yet unpublished novels. Sadly, still, this doesn't mean we're completely in the dark about what's to come in A Song of Ice and Fire. The exact ending, those 2 events were revealed to Benioff and Weiss during a 2016 meeting with Martin, in where the author outlined the remainder of A Song of Ice and Fire's story. Hold. Presently, there is, and it would be foolish to make any predictions. Suffice it to say,
Raindrops, drop top, top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. You fucking on your bitch, yeah, that.